Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Craig Burrell, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Navy is Commander Eme Unyike. This evening, we warmly welcome Group Captain Alan George, retired, representing the Air Force Association. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors to the memorial. If you are able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. Please be seated if you can do so. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn their loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the hearts of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Flying Officer Colin Edwin Abbott Cock. Colin Cock was born on the 16th of May, 1918, in Northam, Western Australia, the son of Edwin and Leah Cock. By the advent of the Second World War, Cock was working as an accountant. He served with the 10th Lighthouse from August 1940, and after enrolling in the Royal Australian Air Force Reserve in early June 1941, he was called up on the 9th of November 1941 and enlisted in RAAF at the age of 23. Cock began training as a pilot. He married Molly Lundy on the 10th of February 1942, and in October that year was granted a commission. On the 20th of December 1942, Cock left Australia, bound for the United Kingdom. Arriving in mid-January 1943, he undertook further training until being posted to 455 Squadron, Royal Australian Air Force, in early August. 455 Squadron was a torpedo bomber squadron that undertook anti-shipping and anti-submarine operations, flying Bristol bullfighters. Although nominally an Australian squadron, its personnel were drawn from a number of Commonwealth countries, including Britain, Canada, New Zealand, and Rhodesia. The squadron moved from Scotland to RAF Langham in Norfolk in April 1944 and formed the Anzac Strike Wing with number 489 Squadron, Royal New Zealand Air Force. Beginning operations in early May, they attacked a number of enemy ships. During these operations, the Australians faced heavy naval anti-aircraft fire as well as enemy fighters. On the 25th of September 1944, Cock was the pilot of a bullfighter amongst a group of 65 tasked with carrying out a strike at Den Helder in Holland. Reaching Den Helder in the afternoon, the Australians claimed 61 rocket projectile strikes and many cannon hits against the hulls of a 3,000-ton merchant vessel, minesweepers, armed trawlers, and tugs. While the operation was successful, an intense barrage had greeted the bullfighters. 3 aircraft were lost and 17 were damaged during the raid. One of the lost aircraft was that piloted by Colin Cock, one of the squadron's most experienced pilots. His aircraft was seen to dive, blazing among the ships being attacked. And when it failed to return to base, Cock and his navigator, Warrant Officer Alan Roberts, were presumed dead. Colin Cock was 26 years old. Described as a skillful and courageous pilot, he was posthumously awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross. Today, his remains lie in Bergen-op-Zoom War Cemetery under the inscription, "To live in the hearts of those we love is not to die." His name is listed on the Roll of Honor on my right, among more than 40,000 Australians who died while serving in the Second World War. His photograph is displayed today by the Pool of Reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Flying Officer Colin Edwin Abbott Cock, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not worry them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We'll remember them. Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozieres or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the Director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support during the Memorial's development project. We wish you all a very pleasant evening.